Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about the bioenergetics, or Anchor 3. When we look at the term bioenergetics, we see the prefix bio, and we see energy in the word. If we break it down, bio, living, energy, how do living things get energy? And that is what this anchor is going to focus on. So if we look at the second slide, it says all living things need energy to survive. All living, bio, energy, energetics. So if we look at the different living things, they are broken into autotrophs and heterotrophs. If we look at the word autotroph, we see the prefix auto, and I think of auto like automatically make their own food. So autotrophs that make their own food examples are plants, algae, and some prokaryotes like bacteria. But if we just focus on, and just like a clue, like plants, what do we know about plants? They capture energy from the sun in the process of photosynthesis. Why? To make their own food. Therefore, they are autotrophs, or producers. Heterotrophs, you see hetero, let's think of it like this. It begins with an H. Humans are heterotroph. We must take in food. Since we can't make it, we must be able to consume food. We must get it somewhere else. So H for humans, and also know that fungus is included as a heterotroph because a fungus cannot make its own food. Energy then must be traced back to the sun. When we look at the third slide here, it says all energy comes from breaking down glucose. Glucose ends in OSE. Hint, anything that ends in OSE is a sugar. And it has the chemical formula C6H12O6. Now you should recognize C6H12O6 as a sugar, and a sugar is the macromolecule carbohydrate. And we can recognize that also by its shape, or the chemical equation C6H12O6. So there's two types of energy that we get here. Is aerobic activity. Aerobic activity is the breaking down of glucose that requires oxygen. I would like you to think of aerobic activity would be like you taking breaks in your exercise, where you would have a fast-paced exercise and then slow it down to breathe. And then you increase again, and then you slow it down to breathe. Aerobic activity requires oxygen, and the process here that requires oxygen is cellular respiration. Your cells need oxygen in order to survive. The second type of energy is anaerobic. And anaerobic does not require oxygen. An example that does not require oxygen would be like you sprinting, where you use up all of the oxygen. Or an activity would be like you lifting weights in a faster pace, and you get to a point where you can't pick up the weights anymore. You have used all of the oxygen, and your muscles become fatigued or tired. And we call that lactic acid fermentation. When your muscles are sore, you used up all the oxygen, therefore they ache. Next slide. There are two processes that you need to know in Anchor 3, and it really is quite simple. Photosynthesis and cellular respiration. If we look at the process of photosynthesis, it's the process by which light energy, the sun, is converted to chemical energy, glucose, C6H12O6. So really, the plants use light, the sun, to make food, glucose, C6H12O6. And you eat food all the time, lettuce, carrots, celery, etc. Photosynthesis is only done in autotrophs. Auto, you see the word, automatically make their own food, plants. The second process is cellular respiration. Well, you see cells respire. So think about this. This is a process by which chemical energy in food, glucose, is transferred to or transformed to chemical energy in ATP. In other words, you eat food to get energy. This is done in all organisms, both plants and animals. So if we look at that term ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the molecule that stores energy in its bonds for cells to use at a later time. So if you see the formula here, ATP, which is energy, you break that down, you see on the other side, ADP plus P plus energy. If we look at the next slide, photosynthesis occurs in chloroplast. That's an organelle. And autotrophs are the only ones that contain the organelle chloroplast. You see the reactants, carbon dioxide, CO2, plus water, H2O, plus light energy, the sun. The products of photosynthesis include oxygen, O2, plus food, or what we call glucose, C6H12O6. So you have to know the reactants, or the ingredients, which is on the left, and the products, which is on the right. If you look at cellular respiration, the second process, it occurs in the mitochondria, which is the organelle. Autotrophs and heterotrophs both have mitochondria. If we look at the reactants, what is needed, or the ingredients for cellular respiration, they include C6H12O6, which is our glucose, plus oxygen. Your cells need oxygen also to respire. The products of cellular respiration are carbon dioxide, it's a waste product, plus water, H2O, it's a waste product, and we get energy, ATP, from the cells eating and using energy, and oxygen. These reactions require the products of the other. And what that means is what is needed for cellular respiration is the product of photosynthesis. What is needed for photosynthesis are the products of cellular respiration. Here, in this last slide, shows you the animal cell and the plant cell. Remember from Anchor 1, Part 2, that a plant cell has three other things that an animal cell doesn't. One being the central vacuole, which stores water, the other one being the cell wall, which is on the outer part, and the chloroplast, which does photosynthesis. And notice that both the plant and the animal cell have mitochondria. Therefore, they both do cellular respiration. Now you will do the worksheets to help you with this lesson.